flips are my favorite flips. This coffee table only took me 4 hours of hands-on work time to refinish, and I'm going to show you exactly what I did step by step. By far, the quickest way to remove the existing finish off a piece I've found personally is to use a carbide scraper, which you can see I'm using here. A carbide scraper is essentially a very sharp blade that you are scraping across the surface of the timber to remove the existing finish. You can use a carbide scraper in conjunction with a chemical-based stripper. That's a fast option as well. However, you do have to scrub that chemical-based stripper back off. You have to wait for it to dry. It's messy, it's gloopy. With carbide scraping, you just scrape the finish off and then you can move straight onto sanding. So it's a time-efficient way to remove the existing finish. I gave the piece a quick wipe over with methylated spirits before I started sanding, just to ensure that I had no grease or grime left on the surface. My advice when you are sanding is to start with 120 grit sandpaper. And this is because when you are using lower grades of sandpaper, so say a 60 grit or an 80 grit, it may seem like you are taking that finish off really quickly, but what you're actually doing is creating micro scratches or those little pigtails in your work that you then have to spend a lot of time sanding back out again. You've got to spend a lot of time working up the grades very slowly to get them out. And sometimes you can't get them out at all. So when you start with 120 grit sandpaper, you are less likely to create those pigtail swirls, which means you can jump up your sandpaper grades quite quickly because all you're doing is smoothing down. You're not trying to remove micro scratches. Once all of the existing finish was removed, I got all of the dust off using my blower and some methylated spirits again. So I'm just using a microfiber cloth here and wiping everything down, and it tends to pick up anything that was really fine or sitting in the grain that wouldn't actually come out with the blower. It's very common under dark stains to find a lot of variation in the timber, and that's exactly what I found on this piece. This is made out of mango wood, so there was some blonder timber, there was some red, there was some orange, which is fine if you're using a dark stain because it tends to create more of a uniform result. But if you want to create a lighter result and have it looking a little bit more uniform, you need to go in and do a paint wash. Paint washing is essentially applying a watered down paint mixture to the surface of the timber to create a desired result. You can do a lot of things with paint washing. You can cool timber down, you can warm it back up, you can create more of a uniform base here and do some color correction, or you can add deeper brown tones to your furniture without the warmth. By far the fastest way to apply a paint wash is with a spray gun. Now, if you don't have a spray gun, you can absolutely apply a paint wash with a microfiber cloth or a brush, but this takes time and it can be a little bit fiddly. Whereas when you spray with the paint sprayer, you can do large sections at a time, and you can also do detailed sections very quickly because it gets into all of the little nooks and crevices. I speed up my dry time by using a hairdryer, and then I come back and lightly sand everything down with 600 grit sandpaper. You then remove all of the dust and you can apply another coat of paint wash if you wish, but for this piece I only did the one. The final step in this refinish was to seal, and with coffee tables you want something that's going to be highly durable. So with that in mind, I chose Fiddy's hard wax oil in matte clear. This one is water resistant, stain resistant, it's food and toy safe, and it's incredibly easy to apply. You can see here that I'm just using a 5mm microfiber nap roller. However, if you're more comfortable with a brush, you can put a light coat on with a brush instead. Hard wax oil is a fantastic alternative to a traditional polyurethane seal in that it won't craze or yellow over time like a lot of polyurethanes can. And when it comes time to actually reapplying this one, you can simply go straight over the top. You don't have to completely sand it off and then reseal. You can find all of the Fiddy's products through the link in my bio, and I've recently acquired a 10% off code for you guys as well. So make sure that you use that one if you want to get your hands on this hard wax oil. I applied one even coat across the entire piece, popped the fan on to let it dry, and guys, this is the end result. It's gone from Bali dark furniture to modern coastal. The variation in the piece is still there, but it's just a little bit more subdued. It's not orange and yellow and completely in your face. I'd love to know what you guys think about this one. Is it a nail or a fail?